What makes a man the world's greatest dad? Is it the time he spends with his children? The sacrifices he makes behind the scenes? Or maybe it's just being there day after day when it matters most. Did you know that Father's Day got its beginning from a sermon? That sermon commemorated the death of 362 men that died in an explosion. The explosion jolted the coal mines of the Fairmont Coal Company in Monongah, West Virginia. The day this sermon was preached was on July 5th, 1908. Over the years, several presidents have made an attempt to make it a holiday for fathers. We now honor the third Sunday of June as Father's Day, which President Richard Nixon wrote into law in 1972. In other countries, they celebrate Father's Day too. Europe and Latin fathers are honored on St. Joseph's Day, which falls on March 19th. Fatherhood isn't just a title, it's a calling. It's protection, provision, leadership, correction, and love, all rolled into one. Fathers lay the foundation for identity, security, and confidence in their children. Children with involved fathers are more likely to do well in school, have healthy self-esteem, and avoid high-risk behaviors. The presence of a loving father brings stability and a sense of purpose into the home. Let's talk reality for a moment. According to the U.S. Census Bureau data, nearly 1 in 4 children live without a biological step or adoptive father in the home. Children in father-absent homes are 4 times more likely to live in poverty, 2 times more likely to drop out of school. They're also more likely to struggle with behavioral issues. Divorce, separation, and economic pressures have left many fathers out of the picture, either physically or emotionally. But some dads, despite heartbreak, continue to raise their kids as single fathers. Others, though separated, fight to stay involved, and they matter more than they even realize. Speaking of fathers, my dad shares the exact same name as I do. His name is Donald, and he's a junior and I'm a second, and I don't know how all that works, but I've just been really thankful that I had a hardworking, good father who always tried to support us children the best he knew how. Recently he had been, a few years ago, been diagnosed with blood cancer, and they haven't given him a whole lot of time to live, and I'm sure a lot of people have family members who have struggled with some form of cancer, which was never meant to be in our DNA or our earth, but we realized that this is what we fight and battle with, a lot of illness and sickness and different things. But anyways, the fact is that my dad has been fighting this blood cancer for a little while now, and I'm just so thankful that I've had the opportunity just recently to go visit him, spend a little time. But I'm also thankful when I was a young person, my dad would do some really extraordinary things for us. I mean, it may seem small to some people, but to us it meant a lot. My dad, after he would work a long day in the factory, he would literally go to like a little convenience store somewhere and he'd buy this box. I remember of these little jawbreakers. I'm sure some of you may have experienced these little wrapped jawbreakers. But he'd bring a box of them home and us kids would just tear into those things. They were like a king bringing home a treasure. It was a beautiful thing. So when I got older and I got my own job, he made such an impression on me with that, and I'd really just appreciated that I myself kind of took up the mantle, if you will, or took up the charge. And when I started getting a paycheck, I would go and buy those same little boxes of jawbreakers and bring them home for my brothers. Also, he, when I was probably my teens, he purchased this really nice car. I remember down in Georgia, around where my uncle lived in Atlanta, somewhere down in that area, but he purchased this 1976 Chevy Camaro. Boy, was it a dream. It was a beautiful car. He put a lot of time and effort in that car. And I remember, my dad made such an impression on me that I too wanted to emulate him, I guess, in a way, or mimic him. And I sought after as a teenager to buy a 1976 Camaro. And guess what? I found a clunker. Well, not a clunker, but a junker, I guess you could say. Now, the car looked like junk on the outside, but boy, that car ran. His Camaro had a 305 in it at the time. Mine had a 352 barrel. I got into a really bad accident. It's a long story there. With my Camaro, it totaled, cracked the frame, actually nearly killed a baby in a car. It was a wintry kind of accident in Michigan. I was kind of a naive, kind of new driver at the time, and smacked this little Plymouth Horizon, and where I hit was where a baby was sitting in the baby seat and actually almost caused me to stop driving. But I'm so thankful for that cop that day. That it was a Christmas Eve day actually, and he told me I'd get behind the wheel and keep driving. But come to find out that that car was totaled, so I sold the engine, and that Camaro my dad has, I believe it's still on there. It was my spoiler off my car, little fins on the back and the trunk. That was mine, that he took off my car. And also the rear end, they call it a posi rear end, meaning it has both wheels spin in the back. You know how guys are, they like to do burnouts and stuff. And I think my dad did do those burnouts. But the fact is he really enjoys speed. So I really appreciate my dad. One time I really need to go out and get a job, of course, and he let me borrow his Camaro to go out and get job applications around the town. And that was kind of, to me, it was a big thing. I'm so thankful that he trusted me with his pride and joy. And speaking of cars, he also would teach me how to fix or change brakes, and also change the oil and change tires. So I was really thankful that he would spend the time, and when we'd show me how to fix brakes or change the brakes, he'd be sure to tell me that I would need to take each piece off, and I would have to label them so I wouldn't lose them. So he's pretty meticulous with that, but it made sense because you lose a part, you don't have brakes. You don't have brakes, that's not a very safe car. That helped me to save money so I could stand on my own 2 feet. That's just the kind of man he was. Speaking of that, I remember when I was in elementary and even in junior high school, I'd have people that for some reason they just decided to find it a joy to pick on me. So of course, I'm sure some of you have been in that same position. You've been bullied, and these kids would come chasing after me, and I remember I'd run home. That's probably why I learned how to run really quickly. But I'd get home and I'd tell my dad about it. He'd go chasing after these kids. He'd run them all over the neighborhood, run after them. He really tried to protect me, and he meant well. So I was really thankful that he would always try to stand up for me. I never really did stand for myself, but I was just thankful my dad would try to stand in the gap and chase down these boys that would try to bully me. I do remember one incident. There was a girl that I really liked in our neighborhood, not too far from me, just down the block a little bit. I found her, really attractive and things, as a teenager does, all those things going on, hormones, all that stuff. But I had this girl, she would come with these guys, and these guys were the ones that bullied me. It was probably about 5 or 6 of them. I remember this very vividly because we'd always play like sports in our backyard. We'd play soccer or football or kickball, that kind of stuff. But they approached me with this girl, and they told me, "Hey, Donald, this young lady, she wants to make out with you, and would you come with us? We're going to go to this thing down, I don't know, about a couple miles away." They wanted to go with me and her to this computer camp. It was a camp that was empty and there was nobody there, so they wanted to take me. So, well, let me go check with my dad. So I talked to my dad about it, and he told me no, and I was pretty bummed out that he told me no, but it was a good thing because when I went to talk to him, I said, "Look, my dad said I can't go," and they said, "Good, because we're going to kick the snot out of you." So their intention was to take me back to that computer camp and beat me up pretty bad. So my dad kind of helped several times to kind of spare me from some things. So I really do thank my dad for being kind of a protection. Well, he was a protection to me and just tried to look out for me. Just thankful for that aspect of my dad. It was a blessing. And, seeing him now, aging, it can be a challenging thing. I don't get to visit him all the time, but I do really care and appreciate my dad for what he's done for me and what he's done for us, my other brothers as well. Maybe I haven't said it enough, but I'm thankful for him. And this Father's Day, it means a lot. Like I said earlier, he's got cancer, and so I'm not saying he's going to pass tomorrow, but the fact is I really do care about my dad and look forward to maybe one day spending this thing called eternity with him. That'd be an awesome thing. Another aspect of my dad I really appreciate is his concern and care for others. He obviously showed it with me and my brothers, but he also did that at his workplace. Many years ago, he worked for a place that made truck beds, or bed liners, if you will. And in there, they didn't have the best of environments to work in, so he pushed really hard, worked really hard to get the union in. I remember he would spend countless hours, promoting and advertising, marketing the union, and finally got it in. So he was really concerned with how the environment was for his coworkers and the safety and all that. And it kind of made an impression. Well, it did make an impression on me. So when I get older, and here I am again, now this ministry I work with, it's an actual ministry, they would put me in charge a few years ago in a studio, and I saw things laying on the ground like wires and different things. I thought, we get those things up on the wall, and so I designed and implemented some stuff that would keep the area clean and safe so people wouldn't trip and get hurt. So he again kind of impressed me with his ability, but also his drive to make sure that people were protected. So that was a wonderful quality about my dad that I really appreciated, and it kind of made and resonated with me. So I would carry that on even in my adult life as well. His actions taught me that character shows up when no one's watching, and that greatness lives in quiet consistency. As much as I love and honor my dad, there's a greater father, a perfect one actually, a father who never fails, never leaves, and never stops loving. In John 3 and verse 16, we see the greatest act of love a father could ever give. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. He didn't hold back. He didn't wait till we had it all together. Aren't you thankful for that? He gave first, because that's what a true father does. Sometimes we misunderstand God's correction, but the Bible reminds us in Hebrews 12 and verse 10, our fathers disciplined us for a little while as they thought best. But God disciplines us for our profit, in order that we may share in his holiness. Now that's love. Not always comfortable, but for our benefit. Just like a father teaches his child so he or she can grow up, God molds us through both blessings and challenges. If you've had a great dad, thank him. Cherish those moments. And if your father is absent or your relationship is broken, know that healing is possible. And if you're a dad trying your best, don't give up. You're making a difference every single day. But above all, remember, there's a Father in heaven who sees you, he knows you, and he calls you his child. The Lord is like a father to his children, tender and compassionate to those who fear him. Psalm 103 verse 13. If this video moved you, share it with someone. Leave a comment about a memory with your dad or how God has shown himself as a father in your life. And don't forget to subscribe for more faith-filled content. To all the world's greatest dads, I say thank you.